Everybody has a giant in their life. But what if I told you your giant is not there to destroy you? It's there to reveal the power that God has already put inside of you.
Empowering you to live a life fully charged. This is 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life with LJ Tucker.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to 7,000 Volts, Living in an Electrified Life. I am your host, LJ Tucker, and today we're going to talk about something that every single one of us has faced. Giants. Not the kind from fairy tales. I'm talking about real life giants. Financial pressure, fear, doubt, stress, family struggles, spiritual battles. We all have something standing in front of us, looking bigger than we feel. We've all heard the story of David and Goliath, but that story wasn't just history, that was instruction. David didn't win because he was bigger. He didn't win because he had more experience. He won because he trusted God. I'm going to say that again. He won because he trusted God. Your giant doesn't fall because of your strength. So don't matter how many times you go to the gym, you pump those weights, how many scriptures you quote, how many accolades and scholarships and degrees you may have hanging on your wall. If you don't trust God, it doesn't matter. It falls because you trust him. And when you trust him, all things become possible. His word comes to life. Let's make this real. Your giants might not be 9 feet tall, but it feels like it. Your giant might be bills stacking up, a business not where you want it to be, mental pressure you don't want to talk about, or something you've been fighting for a very long time. And here's the truth. Giants grow. When you keep staring at them, when you keep complaining about them, they're going to continue to grow. But watch this. Giants shrink when you start trusting God. That's how simple it is. That's the end of this episode. I mean, what more can I say besides that? Giants will shrink when you start trusting God. You know, I remember when I was a younger teenager and I had giants. Of course, I didn't have the wisdom that I have today, so I dealt with those giants differently. There was days I ran from those giants because they were in the form of bullies. I had to deal with bullies growing up, and sometimes it wasn't just one bully. So if I stayed to fight the one bully, then I had to fight him and all his friends. And so I had to learn at a young age how to deal with those giants. And again, my understanding when I was younger is not the same understanding that I have now. But I learned to stand up for myself. You know, I talk about a lot of different struggles we had growing up in my book, 7,000 Volts. And I don't know if I label them as giants. Dealing with bullies, when you're young, that feels like a giant. It feels like you're alone, like you don't have a voice. You know, just part of my childhood in general, I felt like I didn't have a voice, where it was at school or in the neighborhood with my friends or at home with the adults. It's like, seems like every corner I turn is like nothing I said matter. And like the problem is bigger than, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than you. But something happened. God began to give me strength. And when he gave me strength, I was able to navigate. I was able to stand boldly. I was able to protect not just myself, but protect others. I remember in the third grade, where do we live? I want to say we lived in Brooksville at the time. And I was in third grade, and my friend Tommy, he was being bullied by this time, I was able to stand up for myself. And at this time, I stood up for Tommy. And the bully came up and told Tommy to give him your lunch money. And I just stepped right in and said, "You won't be getting this lunch money today." And I was told to mind my business and stay out of it. I said, "This is my business. You're not going to bully my friend. He's not giving you his lunch money anymore." And he looked at me and he says, "Me and you at the school, buddy. This ain't no fairy tale. This is real life. It's like you see this stuff in the movies, like, yeah, right, this don't happen." Well, it happened to me. I got myself into a situation with a fifth grader that was twice as big as me. So by the time the end of the day of school came, everybody heard about this fight. And some middle schoolers showed up and said, "Yeah, beat this boy's behind." And they used some choice words. And the kid took a swung at me. I swung back. I was getting the best of him. And then I felt something grab my arms and started pulling me back. It had to be 20 or 30 kids there. And what's funny is the principal got me, all these teachers breaking it up. I was like, "Oh man." And next thing you know, I got written up and I was suspended for school for standing up for my friend, because that's not how they saw it, because I had options and choices. And I chose to fight because I could have easily let the principal know what was going on. But when you're a kid, you don't think with wisdom. You don't think that way. You don't think, "Oh, there's a fight. I need to go run and talk to the principal or tell the principal." I had no expectations. In my mind and in my reasoning, I was standing up for my friend Tommy. So God gave me that strength at an early age, not just physical strength. He gave me mental strength, spiritual strength, and I made a decision. And I'm not running from this anymore. And at that time, that's when I stood up. And in that moment, it taught me something that I still carry today. That's exactly what I'm doing today. I'm being a voice. I'm giving insight from my experience, from things that I've been through as a father, as a business person, as a mentor. I'm standing up. I made a conscious decision to put a positive message out into the airways, out into the world. And there's certain things that we don't get into. We don't get into politics. We don't get into all the negativity stuff that's easy to get into for clicks, likes, and views. That's not what I'm here for. If you like what you hear, you can like it. If not, you don't have to. You can keep strolling, or you can listen. You can subscribe. That's your prerogative. But I'm going to still put these messages out here because I overcame my giants. There's no fear in me. God has took me to a place where it's clear understanding, and I trust him. So what he wants for me and what he has for me, he's going to continue to grant to me, because the giant isn't bigger than me. I just hadn't stepped into who I was yet. It is very fulfilling when you stop living in fear and you trust God. Let me say this clearly. Your giant is not your enemy. Your fear is. Fear is anybody's enemy, because fear will have you overthink, backing down, doubting yourself, forgetting who God has called you to be. And God didn't give you the spirit of fear. He has given you power, but the power doesn't activate until you step forward. You have to step forward. You have to say, enough is enough, and I will not live in fear. I will trust God. So when I see people struggle, it's like, I don't have all the answers, but wisdom tells me what the struggle is. There's no other way around it. It's like I heard Tom Brady says this. He said, "I studied so hard and often to know my job and know what I need to do as a football player. When I actually got to the game, it was like cheating." Wouldn't that be nice if you trusted God so much, when these giants come that you think that's your enemy, you feel like it's cheating, because you know who's in charge and you know who you trust, and now you're not living in fear. Here's how you beat those giants. Number one, David showed up, so that means you have to show up. You can't defeat what you keep avoiding. Number 2, stay true to who he was. Stop trying to fight your battles like somebody else. Number 3, he used what he already had. He didn't have to run out to Walmart. He didn't have to run out to the gun store. He didn't have to run to the east, to the west, north, or south. He used what he already had. He didn't have to call up Uncle Buck. He didn't have to call Pookie or whoever, because he used what he already had. In fact, they tried to give him some armor, and he actually tried to put it on, and it weighed him down according to the Bible. And he said, nah, I'm good. I'm going to use what I have. You already have what you need, so use it. You just haven't trusted it yet. And once you start to trust it more, your confidence will grow because you already have it. You've been preparing all your life. So when that time comes and you let go and let God, who you trust, he'll take over and use what you already have. Number 4, he spoke. David spoke before he fought. You have to speak victory before you see it. So if you're struggling, whether it's financially or with your health, mentally, you have to speak life. You have to speak it over yourself now. You can't wait. You can't be like the guy at the fire and say, give me fire and then I'll put wood in you. No, you have to activate it by being proactive. Your giant today might be, I don't know how I'm going to make it. I feel stuck. I'm tired mentally. But hear this, my friends. That giant didn't show up to stop you. It showed up to stretch you. You know, when I buy a new piece of equipment, they said after you break the machine in at 50 hours, sometimes it needs an oil change or you need to tighten up the belt. Once it gets scratched in, now it's ready to work. And I found that to be true. Every giant you defeat builds the next version of you. I'm going to say that again. I liked that. Every giant you defeat builds the next version of you. You're not weak. You're not behind. And you're not stuck. You are in the moment where God is trying to show you what's inside of you. Right here. Inside of you. Say this, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not some things, not a few things, but all things. Even the giants, in spite of even the giants. So whatever giant is in front of you, don't run from it. There's a time in my life I ran. I got off the bus and these guys thought they was going to jump me. You got to catch me first. So guess what? God delivered me from that. I don't run no more. I don't engage. I'm not going to throw the first punch. And, I just turned 48 a couple weeks ago on my birthday. We don't fight. So maybe that's from some young person. If you find yourself in that situation, sometimes it's okay to run. Trust God through it, because the same God that helped David is the same God that's with you today. This is LJ Tucker, and this is 7,000 volts. Stay focused, stay strong, and stay electrified. God bless.
This has been 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life, available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. For more information, visit us on the web at ljtucker.com. Remember, stay electrified.